So here is a new video, really. This is kind of the idea that I was talking about, which was to try and do a kind of a track preview, run you through the real world tracks that are coming up, try and do it before the actual race weekend starts. So up next is round 5, the Shark Helmets Le Mans track. Bit of a difficult track to actually set a valid lap time through on MotoGP 21. Track is tight, and those track limits kind of come at you very quickly. The track itself is a really nice flowing track. A lot of sort of sacrificing the first parts of corners in order to get the second part right. It's kind of what you see here in this downhill right. So you run through and carry the momentum, miss the first part of the apex so that you get the second part and the drive up the hill as you exit. Coming down here into this left is a long left-hander. You miss the first part again, squeezing it in on the left to hit the apex and maximum drive out of here. Down a short straight into a double right. You want to hit the first apex. You treat this as one corner, hit the apex once and then hit the apex twice on the second part of the corner, getting as much drive out of here as you can. Of course, Le Mans is a track where there are quite a few sharp corners leading on to straights. If you can get a little bit of time on the exit of these, you'll make up a lot more time at the end of the straight. That's sort of the nature of momentum, I guess. But the track itself is really fun. It's a nice track. Kind of how I want to break the video down is give you sort of like a little rundown of the track and then put it into test with a live lap and just kind of walk you down through to my thoughts on kind of the best way that I approach it. May not work for you, but maybe it will help you. And kind of that's what I hope to do. So let's go into a live lap now. You see go on to the straight here, going through the gears all the way up into 6. You want to try and set yourself up through this right-hander here. It's not flat out. Down into 5th, 4th on the apex as you set yourself up for the chicane. Sacrifice the first part of it, hit the apex and then get onto the flip for the left, short shift to 2nd, 3rd on the exit, getting as much drive as you can. Run down the hill. Difficult to break in for here, but we go down into 1st. As I said, miss the first part, squeeze it back in for the 2nd, short shift to 2nd and 3rd on the exit, 4th before you go under the bridge. Brake just before the bridge, again back down into 1st, missing the first part of the corner to squeeze it back in and hit that 2nd apex. Up into 2nd, 3rd on the exit, 4th and 5th down the little straight. Braking now into the double right-hander, you hit the first part of it, run out wide and then bring it back for the second part. 2nd on the exit, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th down the straight, and this is quite a difficult corner to set up for. Sort of a blind entry. You want to turn in late on the first part of the chicane as we brake, go down into 2nd for it, roll through the first part again on the flip, short shift up into 3rd and get maximum drive out of here. We approach up into the right, back down into 1st, hugging the inside of this so we set ourselves up for the left, keeping it in 1st, 2nd on the exit of here. You don't want to drift out too wide on the exit here so you can get it back for the double right-hander. Into the double right-hander, down into 1st, hit the first part, drift it out, 2nd part, maximum drive out of here and across the line. Time we did over here was a 29.7, I think. It's not a bad time, got me 2nd on the leaderboards, and yeah, I hope that kind of gives you guys a little bit of insight and maybe some tips to approach Le Mans and improve your own times. So kind of that's the lap preview out of the way. There's a couple of things that I wanted to run through before we got on to kind of my race predictions for the upcoming Grand Prix. And that was kind of the review that I did, had quite a good reception. A lot of people kind of agreeing with some of the points that I said. There were some disagreements and they were kind of valid. Sort of what I want to talk about next is there were 2 things in particular that I said that were kind of inaccurate. I referred to the bike models being 2 years old. This unfortunately was inaccurate and was kind of brought to my attention by Milestone themselves. The models are the latest versions up until the end of the 2020 season, and then realistically it's just not enough time for them to be able to turn that round and bring us the latest models. So they will get updated to the 2021 models later on through the game's life cycle, which is obviously good. There's a lot of things that are going to be changing, like I said in the review. And then secondly, I think it was more of a misunderstanding than me being wrong when I was talking about the time frame in which for the game to be brought into kind of where it should have been on launch. So few people kind of misunderstood and sort of took what I said as being 6 months for the game to be ready. This was more just me generalizing. I actually said 2, 3, 5, and 6 months. It wasn't, the time frame wasn't really the issue. My bone to pick with that was more that the game didn't come out finished and didn't come out in a state that you could develop it from there. They were sort of playing catch up. So my mistake. Maybe I put it across wrong. Maybe it wasn't easy to interpret. But I hold my hands up on that, and always try and be honest with how I talk about things. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So that's that out of the way. Kind of, I guess, move on to sort of how I see things going this weekend. So in the background, you would have seen there's a race that I did on a Johan Zarco's Pramac Ducati. It's done on 120% AI in the wet, because of course this weekend is forecast to rain. We did a 35% race, which was 9 laps, and started from the back of the grid. So whilst that's going on in the background, I'm going to talk about my predictions for the weekend. So we'll start off with Moto 3. And I think you can't really look anywhere other than Acosta. He's been outstanding this year. I mean, to say that he's a rookie, he's definitely not showing that. He's making everyone else look like rookies. He's had an amazing start to the season. He's finished second and 3 firsts. For sure, he's got to be the favourite for Le Mans if form's anything to go by. I think the Hondas are going to start coming into form in the European rounds. I think might see the likes of Darren Binder, who's always an amazing guy to watch racing. I think he's going to be up there challenging. I think Acosta will get the win this weekend. And I think maybe Darren Binder for second and Messier in third. I think if it rains, that could change everything again. But yeah, I don't see anyone else but Acosta winning this race. Moving on then to Moto 2, I think realistically, I think you've got to put your money on Sam Lowes. Elsewhere, I think Bezzecchi, Gardner and Fernandez will be battling it out for the podium. Again, if it rains, I think Jake Dixon could be a name to throw into the hat. He's shown amazing form in the wet before, and he's kind of coming along quite nicely in that Petronas team as well. Moving on to MotoGP, I guess really the easiest way to do it is kind of break it down by manufacturer. Yamaha, I think Morbidelli is going to be the front runner. You've obviously got Quartararo, who's coming back, although he is the form man. He's coming back from his arm pump surgery. Vinales, I don't know. I think we're going to start seeing the same old Vinales. I think maybe his head's just not quite there. There's something not right. Rossi, I mean, I don't want to insult the god, but he's going to be praying that it does rain, because I don't think he's got any answers for kind of what's going on at the minute, and I don't think it's anything to do with his age or anything like that. I think he is just struggling with this season with the tyres and with the Yamaha itself. Elsewhere, the Honda are in a very, very bad way. I don't think Marquez has found it easy coming back. So I think Honda-wise, I think Taka Nakagami is going to be the front runner for Honda again. I think if it rains, Alex Marquez did go well in Le Mans when it was wet last year. So I think we could see his name thrown into the mix. And yeah, I don't see any of the Repsol riders challenging the top 5. I think it's going to be another steady top 10, build on it, and kind of come right towards the end of the year. Moving on, Suzuki, I think you can't really look past Jean Mir. He's shown throughout the season so far that he's kind of the front runner within that garage. Elsewhere, Aprilia, well, it's kind of a one-horse race within that team. Ducati, I don't think you can look anywhere else other than Pecco Bagnaia for pole. His one-lap pace is just outstanding. I think we could put him down as the pole man. As far as the race goes, I think maybe Johan Zarco. I'd love to see him win at his home race and give us another backflip. Probably one of the most iconic celebrations there's been with riders. There's been a lot, but Zarco's backflip definitely stands out as one of the more unique ones. I think Zarco does have a tendency to crash though, so I think he's either going to win or bin it. And if he doesn't finish the race, I think Miller will build on his form from Jerez and be the top Ducati man for sure. KTM, I think Petrucci is definitely going to be a dark horse this weekend. He's always gone well at Le Mans. He had a podium and a win in the last 2 rounds. So, yeah, I think we can look out for Petrucci. But as far as who my money's on in the KTM team, I don't think you can look past the Giraffe King, aka Mr. Brad Binder. He's turning himself into the new Rossi. He's definitely becoming the Sunday man. Works all weekend on his race setup, and yeah, although his qualifying is not that strong, his ability to overtake people and kind of have that prior knowledge of what the tyres are going to do in a race is serving him really well within the race. So Binder's my man for KTM, and I guess really as far as the race prediction goes, I think if it's wet, we'll see Zarco, Morbidelli, and I think as a dark horse, I'm going to put Petrucci in there just to be a little bit different. If the race is wet, of course. So Zarco, Morbidelli, and Petrucci. If the race is dry, I think it's going to be Miller, Morbidelli, and throw in a Vinales. I think if Vinales can get his head right, I think the Yamaha really works at Le Mans. And yeah, if his head's right and it's a dry race, I think Vinales will get himself up on the podium. So yeah, that kind of is my predictions. Remember, of course, this isn't advice or anything other than just my opinion. I wouldn't go betting your house on anything that I said. And if you do, though, and you manage to make a little bit of money, I charge a 5% finder's fee. It's payable by PayPal. Just let me know and I'll give you my details. So, yeah, I mean, that kind of wraps up everything that I sort of wanted to say. This race that you've sort of been watching in the background was quite fun to do. Managed to, as I said, it was against 120% AI, started from the back of the grid. The Ducati I found in the wet was a bit difficult in acceleration out of the corner. Seemed to wheel spin quite a lot. I don't know if that was Ducati or maybe just the wet weather. Kind of towards the end of it, managed to cure it by short shifting a couple gears up before kind of really getting down onto the acceleration. I think overall, yeah, I'm starting to enjoy the game a little bit more, starting to build up my confidence with it, find some more pace and gradually get in there with it. I'd love to kind of know where you guys are at with the game. Let me know down below sort of your predictions for the race weekend, kind of your thoughts on how you're getting on with the game now that you've had it for a couple of weeks. Yeah, of course, always up for a conversation about racing or racing games, anything bike related really. So yeah, it kind of brings things to an end on this video. Kind of hope you guys have enjoyed it. Let me know anything that you kind of want to see in the future. And yeah, have a good weekend, enjoy the racing, and peace out.